Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something pretty interesting, gold IRAs.
Ooh, yeah.
We found this great article, and it really breaks down like how these accounts could boost our retirement savings. Make sure we can actually enjoy those golden years. I mean, relaxing on a beach is great and all, but it's even better when you're not worried about outliving your savings.
Definitely. And that's where this gold IRA thing comes in, right?
Yeah,
A
exactly.
lot of people think like, hey, isn't a regular IRA enough? But this article, it really makes you think about gold as like an extra layer of protection.
Okay, so color me intrigued. So what is this like magical gold IRA? I mean, how is it different from the usual, stocks and bonds thing?
It's a self-directed IRA, right? But the cool part is you can have actual physical gold.
Wait, really?
Yeah, like real gold coins or bars. Imagine that, like a treasure chest for your retirement.
I like the sound of that, but honestly, I'm a total stocks person. So why would I like go for the actual gold, instead of a gold ETF or something?
That's a really good question. The article talks about this actually. Physical gold, it's historically been a safe haven. When things get rocky, economically,
Oh, yeah, right.
like back in the 70s during that whole stagflation thing, gold went up like over 800%. Stocks and bonds, they were struggling.
800%. Seriously.
Yeah. So that's the kind of protection a gold IRA can offer.
I see. So it's like a shield against inflation, which, let's be real, is a big worry for anyone trying to plan for the future. Didn't the article mention some guy, Mark, I think, who had a pretty good experience with gold?
Oh, yeah, Mark. He saw his gold holdings, right, go up by 25% over 5 years, while inflation was rising too. It just goes to show you gold helps keep your money, when
Okay.
everything else is going crazy.
That's reassuring for sure. But what about taxes? Any like perks there with a gold IRA?
Of course, we got to talk taxes. Nobody wants to see their retirement money disappear, right? Well, the good news is a gold IRA, it's got similar tax benefits to a traditional IRA. Your investments can grow without, immediate taxes and withdrawals. Depending on how it's set up, they could be tax-free too.
Sounds promising,
Mhm.
but I've heard like whispers, about downsides, that it's complicated or there are scams or even security risks. Does the article address any of that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's important to, talk about the concerns. Setting up a gold IRA, it's not as hard as you'd think.
Okay, good.
It's not like you have to become some like gold expert overnight. There are companies, really good ones, that specialize in this. They can walk you through it.
So hold on. I can't just like shove gold bars under my mattress.
Oh, no, no, no. No mattress gold.
Okay, good to know. So tell me about these like gold IRA companies.
Yeah, the providers. You definitely shouldn't store it yourself. There's IRS rules. And security is a big deal. Picking the right provider is key. They help you choose the right gold, make sure it meets all the IRS requirements, and they'll set you up with secure storage, like a special depository.
So basically, these providers are like our guides in this whole gold IRA world.
Exactly. Think of them as your gold concierge, handling all the details, making sure everything's by the book. That's where doing your homework comes in. Research providers, check their credentials, read reviews, make sure your gold and your retirement are in good hands.
Our research is key, got it. But say you found a good provider. What else should we think about when picking a gold IRA?
Let's see. Definitely transparency for starters. You want a provider who's upfront about their fees and, competitive rates. And then there are all the other services they offer, like beyond just buying and storing the gold. Some providers, they'll help you move money from, old retirement accounts, or they'll have educational resources about precious metals, maybe even personalized advice.
So it's more than just a transaction. It's about finding someone who can like really support your retirement goals. Big picture.
You got it. A good provider helps you fit gold into your overall plan, based on your situation and how much risk you're okay with. And of course, security is paramount. They should be working with like top-notch IRS approved depositories, places that have serious security and insurance for your precious metals.
Gotcha. This is making a lot more sense now. Speaking of fitting it all together, the article mentions a woman, Samantha, I think. She put a big chunk of her savings, like 30%, into gold. Was that like a smart move or was that kind of risky?
Well, Samantha's case, it's a good example of how everyone's different. She felt good about putting a lot into gold. Someone else might want to start smaller.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's why having a good provider is so helpful. They can help you figure out the right amount, based on your situation. And it's like getting a suit tailored. You want it to fit you perfectly, right?
I like that analogy. So we've talked about the good stuff with gold IRAs, but let's be real. Are there any downsides? Anything people should, like, watch out for?
Of course. I mean, gold, it's held its value pretty well historically, but it doesn't, make money like stocks with dividends or bonds with interest.
So it's more about, like, protecting what you have than, like, actively growing it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a wealth preservation tool,
Mm.
especially when things are uncertain or inflation is high, but it might not be the main driver of growth in your portfolio.
Okay, that makes sense. Anything else on the downside?
Well, there's storage. You got to think about that.
Oh, right.
You can't just, keep physical gold lying around. It needs to be in a secure place, an IRS-approved depository, and those can have fees.
So it's not just the price of gold, but also the cost of keeping it safe.
Exactly. Got to factor that in.
Got it. Storage costs? Anything else?
One more thing. Gold prices, they can be a bit jumpy, in the short term. Over the long haul, it tends to hold up well, but you might see the price go up and down day to day, even month to month.
So no trying to time the market with gold.
Exactly. Patience is key with gold, just like any investment.
This has been really helpful. We've covered a lot, from what a gold IRA is to the good and the bad.
Definitely. It's all about, having a realistic view. Gold IRAs, they can be great, but it's not a magic solution for everyone.
Right. Tailoring it to your own situation is key.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, let's talk about those scams you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
How can people, avoid the bad guys in the gold world?
Oh, yeah, super important. Unfortunately, wherever there's money, there are people trying to, pull a fast one. The article had some good tips on avoiding scams.
Okay, let's hear them. What should people be watching out for?
First off, high pressure sales. Be careful of that. A good provider, they'll take their time, answer your questions, no rush.
So if someone's pushing you to buy gold, like right now, that's a red flag.
Huge red flag. And another thing, promises of guaranteed returns. No investment is risk-free,
Yeah.
right? If someone's guaranteeing you'll make a certain amount, well, that's probably too good to be true.
Okay, so watch out for high pressure and those guaranteed return promises. What else?
Fees, you got to scrutinize those. The provider should be totally upfront about all the costs, storage fees, transaction fees, everything. Compare different providers, make sure you're getting a fair deal.
So shop around. Don't be afraid to ask tough questions.
Yeah. Exactly. And last but not least, always check the provider's credentials. See if they're registered with, like, the Better Business Bureau, read reviews from other people, and make sure they use those reputable depositories for storage, the ones approved by the IRS.
It sounds like common sense, plus a little digging is the best way to stay safe.
Couldn't agree more. Better safe than sorry, especially with your retirement money.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into gold IRAs, what's the main thing you want our listeners to remember?
I'd say remember that gold IRAs, they can be great for diversifying and protecting your savings. But it's really important to understand both the good and the bad, Do your research, find a trustworthy provider, and make sure it fits your goals and your risk tolerance.
Great advice. I think we've given our listeners a lot to consider. So with all this new information, what do you think about adding some gold to your retirement plan?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? I gotta say, I'm definitely more interested in gold IRAs now than I was before. Like, I always knew gold was, valuable, but I never thought about it for retirement.
That's what's so cool about digging into these things. It makes you think differently. And hey, even if a gold IRA isn't right for you right now, learning about diversification and all that, that's always useful.
Totally. It's all about being smarter with our money, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's gold, stocks, bonds, whatever.
Exactly. The more we know about, different investments, the better we can plan for retirement, build something that really works for us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
Just one thing. Your retirement plan, it's not, set in stone. It can change as your life changes. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and don't be afraid to, adjust things as you go along. That's a great point. It's like a lifelong journey figuring out this whole money thing.
Yeah, exactly. The important thing is to stay curious, stay informed, and always be looking for the best ways to, secure your future.
Well said. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into gold IRAs. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope you learned some new things today, and maybe even got a little golden inspiration for your own retirement plans.
Until next time, happy investing.